Yep. Is it going?
Oh, is it going? I don't think
No.
it's going.
We're live.
Oh,
We're
are
live
live
now, but I didn't hear it. I didn't hear the Zoom. I didn't hear the music. That's why.
Okay. Oh, I didn't share. That's why. Let's see. Can we hear it now?
There we go. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Technical difficulties as always. All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Phire Football Radio. I'm your host, Matt McGrath, alongside Luigi Coppola, Zach Smolla, and Eric Harkins. This is our 10th episode of the Phire Football Radio 2022-2023 season. We will be live on YouTube Live, as we are now every Wednesday night, starting at 7 p.m. to bring you the latest news, rumors, and more about America's game in the league we all know and love, the NFL. 8 weeks down through week 8, 10 more to go in the regular season. Fantastic games this past weekend, a ton of points and crazy performances, a lot of crazy finishes. And there's much more than just the games this past week, because we had the trade deadline at 4 o'clock yesterday. So we'll get right into it and bring in our guests as we always do. Zach, Luigi, and Eric, how are we doing today?
A-OK, Mr. McGrath. It's fine Wednesday. The weather is really nice.
Surprisingly, it's crazy.
Upset. It's supposed to be 70 all weekend here in the beautiful New Haven area.
Zach, how we doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm ready to talk about football. There's pasta fagioli on the stove. I'm looking forward to a little bit of that when we get out of here. What do you want to do?
Sounds nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Eric with the Yukon in the back. How we doing?
Oh, yeah. Doing pretty well. Played a little bit of golf today. Had a beautiful day for it.
Nice.
So
you're
you're essentially still in the college world. So you get to play golf on Wednesday afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, basically we had like a little bit of a weird scheduling with where we are right now for sports. So tomorrow's the max semifinals for soccer, but typically we have soccer games on Wednesdays. So I went with my bosses, actually. It was like my 3 bosses and me. We went and played. So it was a pretty good time. I had fun.
Where'd you play?
We played traditions. It's like 35 for 18. So it's like you can't beat it. And we went out early. Yeah.
It's out of season?
Yeah.
Monday to Thursday out of season, it's 35.
Getting the November rates, even though it's freaking September weather right now.
Yeah, it was mint. It was mint. Nobody on the course. It was beautiful. Great day to golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good job, Eric.
Did Quinnipiac pay for that round, or was that on you?
I wish. No, sadly not.
I played there on Saturday. We got caught up in a frost delay.
Oh, okay.
Frost delay.
Yeah.
I was about to ask like how the conditions are. I mean, I assume they're better than past, falls.
Yeah. So I was supposed to play Saturday at 8:50 was our tee time. And we got there and there was a frost delay. We got on the back 9 at about 10:15. So
not bad.
Not bad, no.
And then Eric, for you, I'm sure it was great.
Oh, it was so good today. It was like a little bit when we started, but it was also like 9 a.m. But it wasn't bad by like the time we got to the back 9. It was pretty dry also.
Excellent. Golf season rolling in to November. And we'll see how long it lasts. But as a reminder, as we always say, we do have a Twitter and an Instagram. They're at Phire Radio. That's PHIRE Radio. But if you found this stream today, you probably already follow us. You probably already know that. But let's get right into it. I mean, usually we do injuries first, but I think it's necessary to do the trade deadline first, as it was at 4 p.m. Eastern time yesterday. A total of 10 trades yesterday, including 12 players on deadline day. And it's the most in 30 years. That's actually incredible. I mean, I think the trend, as we've seen in the last couple of years, is there's been more and more trades. I mean, in past seasons, the NFL has been pretty atypical to have a good trade deadline, but yesterday was outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting.
So let's get right into it. The first one, I don't know if it was the first one because I don't really know,
I don't
It
think
wasn't-
chronologically.
It was
no.
technically this was not yesterday, it was the day before.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're right.
That's why I did these chronologically.
Okay, but it was an important one, and it was Bears All-Pro linebacker Roquan Smith was traded to the Baltimore Ravens for a second and a fifth round pick. I mean, he wanted out before the season even started. He cried on the podium during his press conference when Robert Quinn was traded. I mean, I'm sure they were good friends, and it's tough to see him leave. But I also saw a lot of memes saying that he wished it was him in the moment to get traded. And what do you guys think about this?
It always is so interesting to me to see what people get valued at. And I know we're going to touch on it immediately after this, but another linebacker came through the portal and there was a first round pick involved. And I would say Roquan Smith is a better player than this other gentleman. And Roquan went for a 2 and a 5. It's not terrible value, but I mean, that was really the only good thing about their team.
Who got traded for a 1?
Things.
Bradley,
Look right at the next.
Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not a linebacker.
Well, he's technically they're
outside
different
linebacker.
They play different linebacking positions.
He's even more
have me
valuable.
hella
He's
confused.
even more valuable in this. Well, yeah.
I was like, a linebacker? Who are you talking about?
not a middle linebacker off the ball.
Talking about
but
Jacob
he's
Martin?
No, he's not a true. He's not a D.
he's a pass rusher.
Yeah,
He's a D
essentially.
lineman.
Yeah.
He comes off the edge and comes up the middle. He's a D.
yeah. And he's listed at outside linebacker.
Well, that's dumb. But
Anyway,
regardless, Roquan Smith and Bradley Chubb were traded. But I really like this Roquan Smith deal. It's great for the Ravens because they don't have much of a long-term commitment with Smith as he's going off his rookie contract after the end of this season. Although it could bite them in the butt because if they want to sign him to a long-term deal, they're also going to be signing Lamar Jackson to a long-term deal and giving him everything he asks for, more than likely. So it's just going to be interesting to see how they go forward. They don't really need the second and the fifth. They're a relatively young team right now with good talent. Obviously, the depth with picks is helpful, but it's not paramount with their situation.
well, it's definitely going to be helpful because you're right. They're going to give Lamar what he asks for, and what he's going to ask for is the house. So they're going to need cheap labor.
True. Both good points. I mean, I think for the Bears, this was kind of something that was coming. I thought he might have been traded a little bit earlier in the season, but it got to the trade deadline with Roquan Smith since he wanted out. And I mean, for Roquan Smith, you're going from the Bears who have a losing record to another like one of these trades where now Baltimore has a winning record, and he can definitely be incredibly impactful on their defense. And ultimately, he was a first round pick, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously now a few seasons in, so his value decreases a little bit, but to only give up a second for an second team all-pro at least, linebacker for the Ravens, I mean, I didn't think it was all that much. And as you said, with Lamar in the future, having a second would be helpful. But I mean,
It's a good deal for the Bears.
Yeah, I think
they
it is.
obviously weren't going to sign him after the offseason. There's no point in having him play on a team rather than find your young stars or find guys that could step up and fill his role or find guys you don't need to draft at a position. So
It's like when we dealt Thon for the third. It's like when the Broncos dealt Vaughn for the third.
I thought you said Thon. I was like,
Oh,
who
no.
is Thon?
on,
Yeah, it's similar but different. I mean, it's a completely different position.
Well, just in terms of knowing you're not
Value.
going to have him
Yeah,
the next season and trying to get something out of it.
yeah, of course.
Sure. And they're still contending. I believe they're 5-3, the Ravens. And the Bears are
3 and 5.
3-5. Yeah, so
Yeah.
flipped records for Roquan Smith. But the next trade chronologically was Broncos linebacker / D lineman Bradley Chubb, and the Broncos sent him and a 2025 fifth rounder to the Dolphins for a 2023 first rounder, a 2024 fifth, and their running back Chase Edmonds. I mean, Zach, you guys were pretty active yesterday, and obviously this is one where Bradley Chubb was a pretty big investment when you drafted him a couple years ago. How do we feel?
I'm torn, and we talked about it briefly before earlier in the week, and I said I'd be okay with whatever they did, and I still feel that way a little bit. It sucks because he was productive. I don't know exactly how many. I know coming into this last game, he had 5.5 sacks. I'm not sure if he got any more. If he did, what would that? Yeah. Anyway, he was being productive. And a slight side note, the Broncos media team, which is so fantastic, did one of those little games where they go around the locker room and ask questions. And they asked a bunch of people, if you got in trouble and you had to call one guy on the team, who would you call? The most popular answer was Bradley Chubb. So I feel like he might, that could be a morale damper. But he's going to command 20 plus million. That is guaranteed. That's not our problem anymore, which is good. Because while he was being productive, do I think
he's
worth...
wait? You think he's going to get 20 plus guaranteed?
That's not my opinion. That's just what's floating around the sphere.
I certainly hope no stupid ass team gives him 20 million a year.
Well, that's the thing
what year is it for him?
This is
Year
4.
This is 4. He'll get into 5 next year.
And he has,
or no, this is 5.
Is he on the
same
5th year
draft
option?
class as Denzel Ward?
Yeah, they picked up his option this last offseason.
All right, so he's guaranteed to be with the Dolphins for this year and next year.
What? No, this is
his
this is 5th year. Oh, okay.
Yeah. What were you saying, Zach?
Another.
Who was the number 1
loaner
that year? I'm gonna go find out.
Number 1 in Bradley Chubb's year 5 years ago. We're gonna go with Kyler Baker. Sorry, year before.
Yeah, it was Baker.
Yeah. It all in all, I think it's pretty
Baker.
Relatively balanced trade. Chase Edmonds is basically useless.
Yeah, that was like a sweetener.
He is very useless.
It's really
like
just
draft
for
day when they added David Putney. Remember that?
Yeah, it's for no, Putney's probably more useful than Chase Edmonds.
Probably.
Even though he's a fake human being. But it's good for depth because your running backs tend to just get injured
it seems like that, huh?
Breathing on them, apparently. I like the pick swaps too. 5th for a 5th and then a 1st on top of it. And then the Dolphins go back and get Jeff Wilson from the Niners for another 5th. So they pick up 2 5th rounders, a 1st round, they pick up 2 5th rounders and Bradley Chubb, as well as Jeff Wilson.
Indeed. And it's funny because the Dolphins and the 49ers in recent time have been doing a lot of business together.
Everybody loves to. I mean, I shouldn't say everybody. Saleh and McDaniel love to come and grab the backups, which is smart. They know your system. They know how to assimilate into your system very well. It's smart for the two of them. I mean, Saleh did it this past offseason with Laken Tomlinson. Obviously, what's his face? Wow, I can't think of it. That's bad. Raheem Mostert's in Miami.
He joins Mostert as another former San Francisco running back.
And I can't be happier. So, Jeff Wilson, I wish him the best, but we don't need you no more.
Yeah, you don't.
No, you get a running back throwing touchdowns now.
We got a man who puts up 183 total all-purpose yards.
You might have a new quarterback. Essentially,
I'm down. I'm fine with it. If you
might just run Wildcat all the time,
I'm down. I'm down. We could. We could just go into the single wing and just run single wing with the 49ers.
Yeah, you should just run a wishbone type offense.
No point in not at this point.
Wedges and end arounds.
We'll still beat up on teams. Yeah, no, but I like this trade. I think that it's smart for the Broncos, but at the same time, it begs the question as a Broncos fan or even somebody that just follows football is like, what is your direction with this team? It seems like a trade where they're like, all right, this season's done. We're chalking it up. We're going to walk away. You give away your only pass rusher, really, because Randy Gregory's been hurt the whole season and doesn't have much sign of returning anytime soon.
Draymond Jones is kind of good, though.
Draymond Jones had a very good week. He was all AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, 3 tackles for loss and a sack.
Very impressive to have young guys stepping up and
5.5 on the season.
Yeah, good for him. That's awesome. But I mean, it's kind of kind of interesting to see that they go and make this big trade for Russell Wilson in the offseason, sending a couple first rounders around. They get one back in this trade, which I believe is the 49ers
It is.
first pick.
It is.
So that'll be interesting because you won't
So
have
I'm rooting against you now.
Yeah, but you're not going to have a pick till the 30s, so don't stress it. Yeah, I don't know. As a Broncos fan, Zach, like what are you thinking? What the hell's going on in Denver
In terms of direction?
With everything? You have a confusing quarterback situation. You don't have a running back room right now because of injury. Your wide receivers are lackluster, and your coach is just not needed. Obviously, your defense is stellar, one of the most elite defenses in the league. So you have directions in terms of that, but what's
just
going
gave
on?
up a big piece of it too.
Exactly. What's going on with giving up after having one of the best defenses in this season?
I think this organization is a little bit of shock right now because we made an enormous investment we were expecting to pay off immediately. They made such a big investment because they thought that this was a proven. I'm going to talk business wise. I'm going to talk about him as an asset.
I mean, it is a business. You spent $245 million on him.
He's
two first rounders.
He's a $50 million a year asset from a business standpoint that we thought was proven to be extremely productive at the top of the league based on previous years. And what we're getting instead is bottom of the league. We were the worst. We're at the bottom of the league in terms of points a game.
Yeah.
And instead of someone who's going to come in and take over the culture, we're getting a project. Like when they drafted Lamar Jackson, some folks would say he's a little bit of a project because there's things you have to work on, which is fine because he was in his 20s. I'm not okay with a project that I just gave up 3 first rounders for. It's not the same thing. And I don't think the organization was expecting that. So in terms of direction, I really don't think they were prepared for this situation. I do trust George Patton, though, I will say. I like George Patton a lot at GM. Nate, you can take it or leave it. I mean, Nate can stay or go.
I mean, they were about to leave it. If you guys didn't win this past week in London against Jacksonville, there was a lot of rumors surrounding Nate Hackett not having a job this week.
And fair enough. Can you blame him?
No, I don't blame him at all. I think it makes sense.
They should have fired him regardless. But.
I think they probably should have too, because it wasn't like we blew the Jags out of the water.
Not at all.
We were losing for a good part of that game. And on the defense, you're right. There's things to love. Pat is gross. Justin Simmons is gross. And then there's the other young guys that are starting to figure it out. But in terms of a direction as a whole, I don't know. I think we kind of got paralyzed a little bit by the investment we made being something so different than what we were expecting.
Yeah. I'm just really interested to see what they're going to go out and do this offseason. Are they going to lay an egg and do absolutely nothing? Now they don't really have a big name to sign now that Bradley Chubb is gone. So they're going to have a little extra room for some cap space to make a splash in free agency. And this isn't really one of the better free agency periods we've seen in the past few years. It's not as good. Obviously, trades are imminent.
Well,
not prepared for that.
You're right that it's not an overwhelming free agency class, but there are a bunch of linemen in this class, particularly interior linemen.
Yeah, I mean,
and
generally
that's something we're weak in.
That happens every year, luckily, where you get a couple good offensive linemen who are going to enter free agency. But I'm saying in terms of big-time players, like if you want to go get a big-time edge rusher, there's nobody really available. If you want to go get a big-time corner to pair with Surtain, there's nobody really available. There's no big-time wide receivers. There's nobody really available this offseason, which is scary as a team who's struggling in a lot of areas, who's going to need some help going forward. And I just think this wasn't the move to move your team forward, which makes me nervous. And I know
in terms of losing Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, I mean, he has been your second largest asset as a team and second largest on your defense after Surtain in both categories. So I just like I'd be scared because you have very little to look forward to unless Wilson starts to turn this ship around, which would be obviously the best case scenario.
I am a little scared, but I think for now I'm going to maintain faith in George Patton until he proves me otherwise, because I don't think they were expecting to have to delve into free agency. I kind of think they figured Russ was going to come in, things were going to be different, and we weren't going to need big signings. But now,
Yeah, and you never know. Russ could turn it around. He's always been known to have a good half of a season, and usually it's the first half of the season, and he falls apart with Seattle in the back half.
Everyone's like, this is his year.
Well, ultimately, he is on a 7-year contract, so it's not like George Patton. I mean, I think I was listening to PFF today, and I thought they put it kind of into perspective because they are the Broncos are bad. Like their offense is very bad.
They have a losing record. Yeah, they're a bad team.
There's bad general, but they are in year one of Russell Wilson underneath. For whatever reason with the league, well, I mean, they put them on all of these primetime games. So the scrutiny heightens no matter what. So we've seen them almost every week being the only game that's being televised at that time. So we're just continuously seeing them be bad and bad and bad and bad. Now, if they had one or two, so far, maybe we'd be like, oh, okay, they're 3-5. They'll figure it out.
I understand that argument, Matt, but I don't fully agree with it.
I mean, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying
because if they were playing bad on regular,
I'm not saying I agree with my own argument.
I'm saying that it is an interesting perspective that it's put them in the spotlight,
right?
But I think they would be in just the same spotlight had they done it at 1:00 every week. Obviously we get to see it and you can actually tell how bad they are.
Right.
Whereas some of the badness might be hiding. But if you're PFF, you don't grade differently depending on what time these guys play. If you're an NFL scout or if you're in an NFL organization, it doesn't matter what time they're playing. So I'm just talking from a purely football, not a fan watching basis. This team is bad. This team is giving away good players. What's the path? Where's the path back to success? Is it, I just hope Russell Wilson turns it around? Or is it, we're going to make another huge trade this offseason?
I think it is, we hope Russ turns it around because I think we went all in on that. We were kind of just expecting that was the move.
I mean, this is your quarterback of the future for the next
7 years.
Yeah. So
once you could take
we're going to be 30 almost by the time he's done.
And I think the heightened hype, at least in the microscope, is that we expected it, as you said, to have immediate success. But ultimately, maybe that wasn't George Patton's. I mean, it's a long-term plan, I guess, but we don't know exactly, as Luigi was saying, we don't know what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, that's what I'm saying is this George Patton plan, it doesn't look to exist at this point.
I think if they
this exact point in time.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to think about it because Judy, had they traded Judy, that would have been three steps backwards.
I'm so happy they didn't do that.
Right, that would have been 3 steps backwards.
I don't know if I agree with that either. You still have Tim Patrick coming back next season from an ACL. Judy has produced very, very little this season and drops balls still in his third year.
He does still drop balls, which is very annoying.
It's bad.
But in terms of not producing a lot, the whole offense isn't either.
I know that, but you have a receiver who's drafted in the top 15 picks, or 15th exactly, and he doesn't do jack. Why not trade him? He doesn't do anything. Yeah, maybe he turns out better with a different team, but he has one of the premier pass throwers in the league. He's not going to upgrade too significantly there.
I wouldn't have hated it if we got a 1.
And he has
it's the question. Yeah,
if you get a 1, you wouldn't have gotten a 1.
Right. The market is so messed up. I don't think we would have gotten a 1.
It's not messed up. He's just not worth a 1.
Exactly.
It's simple as that. Claypool, who I would say, I don't know if I'd fully take Claypool over Judy, but in terms of actual NFL production, Claypool has significantly more. I know he's got an extra year on him, but still, he goes for a 2. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just think if Judy gets traded, it's not a big deal at all. And you really, you have nothing to significantly worry about.
I know, that's such a bummer.
He's not doing anything. You've Greg Dulcich, who's producing more than both of your 2 receivers.
I think they hyped him up way too much. Remember when he first came out And folks were talking about how he's giving route running lessons to professionals.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a great route runner.
I know he is, but even then, it was like
you gotta get the ball and catch it and run afterwards.
Yeah, you have to do
get
the rest of your
open.
job.
You could run a perfect route and not be open. I mean, clearly that's what he's doing, I guess.
All right. Well, while Fire Football Radio has dinner with Zach, I guess we'll move on from the Broncos.
The Fajul came out hot. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not good, and these moves are a little bit weird. I mean, to get back a first is good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just what ultimately are you gonna use it on?
What are they gonna do with it? They're gonna draft another receiver. They're gonna draft a DB. They're gonna draft an edge rusher.
Who knows? That's the thing. Like, I hope.
And it's the 49ers pick, and I'm not being like, in this sense, I'm not being biased, but the 49ers are most likely going to be a playoff team. You're not going to get
especially with CMC. No, it's not going to be a great pick.
It's not going to be a fantastic
pick.
But
if we're smart, we can draft well. You know, the Ravens got,
of course,
Linderbaum.
You got Linderbaum and
late.
You got Kyle Hamilton. But
there's folks late.
Yeah, there is. I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm saying a very impactful day one player because
it's
you can't have a guy who's going to turn good in 3 years. Because if you got a guy who's turning good in 3 years, Russell Wilson might not play good for 3 years, and then he's out of the league, and then it's a spiral, and you don't want to start spiraling this early into the Russell Wilson regime.
Yeah, I mean the goal is that Russ gets better, but I don't know how many more high knees is going to do that for
a lot.
All right. Zach, I think we can kind of skip Jacob Martin. I don't think that really does much either.
I don't know who
I don't even know who he is either.
Who is this?
I don't know.
One of the
moving on.
Middle linebackers.
Moving on.
Trade.
I mean, you got another pick, but you also gave up a fourth for it. So interesting. Lions tight end TJ Hawkinson was sent to the Vikings for two fourth round picks for a 2023 second and a 2024 third. I think this is weird that the Lions are trading within their division so often, and to give it to a team that's 6-1 now.
They are,
and they are the reverse of 1-6. And I think this is another team where it's like, what is the direction of the Dolphins? Like where I understand, like they have a lot of young talent everywhere.
We're talking about the Dolphins or the Lions?
Oh, I mean the Dolphins. Sorry, the Lions. The Lions. There's a lot of young talent, but like TJ Hawkinson is also the young talent.
Yeah, he's their number one receiver. I mean, Amon-Ra's been hurt in and out, so it's been Hawkinson the past couple of weeks. This is another questionable one, like you're saying. Obviously, in terms of the Vikings, they lose Irv Smith 8 to 10 weeks. He got injured this week on Sunday playing the Cardinals with a high ankle sprain. But I guess for the Vikings, it's another pass catcher, another guy to get open, another mouth to feed. For the Lions, he's another guy who will be coming up on a contract year. They tagged him in this offseason so that he would be on this team. And so moving forward, maybe they didn't want to pay him. Maybe they're trying to make a splash somewhere else. It doesn't make much.
That's got to be the reason.
It doesn't make much sense to me either, but I mean, maybe they're like, yeah, we're 1-6. Let's get what we can for this guy. We like him, so we want him to go win football games. Maybe that's their reasoning. I don't know. It's confusing.
For the Vikings, they haven't even really been targeting Irv Smith. I mean, I have him up here. He hasn't gotten many yards. He hasn't gotten many targets. Are they going to reshape the offense a little bit to incorporate this guy?
I mean, they run a lot, and then they also have Jay Jetta, Thielen, and Osborne. Like they have weapons.
And I don't think I think Hawkinson's a complete upgrade. I mean, I'm sure you guys agree.
No, I agree.
Hawkinson's a full upgrade from Irv Smith. So a guy you were getting nothing from can become a guy you can now get a safety valve from, or
but do you think
big plays?
Do you think this could turn into a similar situation as when Austin Hooper went to the Browns and there was too many people to throw the ball to, and they signed him to literally the most expensive tight end deal at the time, and then just never gave him the ball?
Yeah, that was also like Baker. I mean, now that we've seen Baker on a different team, like we know that's Baker.
Well,
in terms of you're like, I know what you mean in terms of mouths to feed. The Chargers do it. Like there are teams that can do it. Kirk Cousins certainly is capable. of doing it. I don't know. It's another weird trade, right? It just doesn't make much sense. It
weird.
could hurt them going forward, but I don't see it hurting them too much. It's not like they had another wide receiver. They had a tight end who could block and who could produce in the short yardage and can break open big plays. I think it's mainly to address their injury with how big of a playoff contender they are this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the Vikings, it's like if you had to pick a winner in the trade, it would be them. Like it's something they are needing now after the injury. But for the Lions, it's like it's just another, let me get rid of this playmaker who now we get picks back for.
But barely.
They didn't get
just
first.
moved
They
up.
send two fourths for a second and a third next year.
Yeah, all they did was move up.
They just very barely. I don't know. You're right, Matt. You're absolutely right. It's a very illogical trade.
I just don't, and like within your own division, bro. Like, Matt,
I mean,
that doesn't make any sense either.
He's just going to beat their butt.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I do not know. I do have to go take a
like. If you're a Lions fan, this is just like at this point, it's just like I mean, you like.
Oh my God, I would have cried if I was a Lions fan.
All the time we talk about like how we like Dan Campbell and we like the new regime with the Lions, and like hopefully with Hard Knocks and everything, with Jamal Williams crying during Hard Knocks saying, last year was terrible and like we're gonna come back this year and be better. Like you haven't done anything. You've been the same team. Here we are. 1-6.
Exact thing.
1-6 through 8 weeks. Like it's not good. And I get it. They need a quarterback. But honestly, Jared Goff isn't the problem right now. And neither is their offense. And you just tossed away and also gave up picks to get back 2 picks just to move up, essentially, as you said, Zach. With the offense doing well, it's the defense that this is the problem. And like, what are you going to draft more Jeffrey Okudas in the second and third round? Like, how many more corners and friggin' D linemen can you draft? I do think Hutchinson is good, but it's like a similar situation. I feel like, where like you're drafting all these young guys, but you're never gonna win if like you're not improving at all. I mean, we thought
it'd be an improvement year.
Yes, exactly.
It's what we thought. And they put them on Hard Knocks, and they're like, hey, they're going to start rolling. They got Dan Campbell. They got DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Amon-Ra's huge.
And the thing is that none of them can stay healthy either. Nope. So, like, they're not winning games, and they're not staying healthy, and they're trading away their playmakers.
Once Hutchinson develops into the player we expect him to, he'll make a ginormous impact on that team. And then they're going to need to go and pair him with someone this offseason, because once they get that pass rush going, their secondary has been playing better than they have in the past couple of years. Not good, though, but better. This Lions team, we knew it going into this is a long bit rebuild. This is like the Jets rebuild that's going on right now. It's a long, lengthy rebuild because you have no one to build off of.
Right. And I mean, they need, like, a part of the rebuild is finding your quarterback for the future, which, like, Goff, as I said, isn't really the problem right now, but he's not their future either.
No, he's expensive, though, for what he produces.
Is expensive.
He's expensive.
I mean, that's sadly not their fault, but
I know, but it's their problem.
They did take it up. Yeah,
it's their problem now.
Yeah.
Pat Morrisrow says, feels like Hawkinson's value for fantasy at least dropped. Kirk is not known for being good with tight ends.
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, being one of the only healthy playmakers on the Lions was very good for his fantasy stock. Now he's in an offense that's better and is playing really well.
And probably needs him just to be a run blocker. More
exactly.
So than a receiver.
Yeah, with the with Dalvin Cook. So we're gonna see.
Surprised. I'm surprised they didn't try and wait and see how the offense would look, especially like once Jamison Williams comes, because he's a game breaker. Like once he's healthy,
that's another weapon that's not healthy right now.
Yeah, maybe that's what. But maybe in the back of their head, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna get JMO back in a couple of weeks. Like Hawkinson's not gonna be as needed."
And Josh Reynolds has been competing well.
Yeah, he has. You're absolutely right.
Sorry, Matt. What were you
going to say? No, I was just going to say, like, Hawkinson overall isn't changing this season. No. But in the future, I mean, I guess the only logical explanation, as we've been saying, is, like, they didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
And they just need to
and
get
it's probably it. Because why pay a tight end when you could pay 1,000 different guys.
Yeah, I like it more now because you're right. You're right, Luigi. If they're gonna have this problem with the rebuilds and you have to pick somebody to pay, it's not a tight end.
No.
It's true. Still weird trading with the Vikings. I just think that is the weirdest part.
Yeah, I mean, well, they know they're not competing with the Vikings this year, so maybe they hope that the Vikings don't re-sign him because Irv Smith will still be on his rookie contract after he gets healthy. So I don't know.
Will see.
It's a gamble, I guess.
Yeah, it is a gamble.
It is a gamble.
The next trade on the docket, Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool sent to the Bears for a second-round pick. Packers offered the same second-round pick for Claypool as well.
Poor Packers.
That was a case of
Not poor Packers, bro. Screw the Packers.
No,
I mean,
that was a
Green
case
Bay.
of Mike Tomlin being like, "Hey, I don't want the Packers to be good this year."
Yeah, I mean
that's legitimately what it was.
Right. But I mean, it's still nonetheless like the Packers did not do their job once again to get a wide out.
To be fair, though, they did offer what they should have offered. It's not like they should have gone and give them a first-round pick.
No, I don't think they should
absolutely
have given them a first-round
So,
pick.
I mean, truthfully, they did their job. They also talked to Cooks this free agency period, and they just didn't like the fit. And I really don't blame them. Now, I know you need to go and get Rodgers a playmaker, but this season's kind of looking like a dud with how bad their defense is playing too. So I don't know if going to get a Cooks or a Claypool, who's already an established receiver, is a smart thing when both of them aren't high-ceiling football players. I don't know. I don't blame the Packers, but at the same time, it's like they should have addressed it earlier than now.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't essentially.
And they still can.
Well, I don't essentially think that they can, like, this would change this season because, yeah, as you said, like, one receiver might not change, or, you know, the defense is bad and one receiver might not change their receiver room altogether. But, like, it's just year after year after year after year where the Packers have opportunities to go out and get somebody, and not even just in free agency, not even just, like, trading, like, every single year in the draft.
They have every opportunity in every
exactly. So
position.
that's like, if I'm a Packers fan, like, you're pissed off because, like, the front office, every turn that you make does nothing to help Aaron Rodgers. And, like, they drafted 2 wide receivers in Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, but Watson just got hurt last week. And, like, not that either of them, I mean, actually Romeo Doubs had a very fantastic catch. This week. Yeah, he had a good week, but everyone else is freaking dropping the ball. So he's not changing the offense either.
No.
So it's just frustrating.
You think Chase called Tomlin when he found out what his options were? He was like, bro, you had to send me to Chicago.
He might have.
You couldn't have given me Aaron.
At the same time, that's not just Mike Tomlin. That's the whole organization figuring that out. So he, if anything, maybe Tomlin was the one trying to help him out. I don't know. Who knows?
Help him out.
I don't know. He's not that great. He's
not
that great as it is. It's not like it's huge for his career. Like, if he wants to be better and have a better career, this would be the perfect spot for him to show that he could help Justin Fields and he could actually be a wide receiver 1 in this league, because he wasn't getting that option in Pittsburgh.
That's true, especially in the Matt Canada run offense.
Hell no.
On the Steelers side of it, they did a great job. I mean, to get a second round pick out of Claypool was fantastic. Ryan Loizell says A+, and then he also said, I don't know, I think they should have given them a first for Claypool. I mean, yeah, that would have been great, Ryan.
Well, I mean, yeah, as a Steelers fan, but when you draft Claypool, they drafted him in the second round. They got a second round back for him. It's perfect.
Right. Absolutely. Mr. Smola says Lions 27, Packers 17. Ooh. Taking the Lions by 10 this week.
That's ballsy.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's just Packers, same revolving door of not getting a weapon. But, you know, the Bears works out for them needing a wide receiver, and also the Steelers get a second round pick for it, and they weren't really doing much this year anyways. Commanders cornerback William Jackson sent to the Steelers. What do we remember what they gave up for this?
Very little.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really one of the monumental ones.
Yeah, he was. They were talking about dropping him if they never got a trade partner, so they probably got very minimal things for William Jackson.
Yeah, depth, a little bit of depth.
It's just depth, because the Steelers, they've been injury prone all on their defensive side of the football.
Absolutely. A player that was traded but has not been playing was Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley. He was sent, to Jacksonville for a 2023 fifth rounder and a 2024 conditional fourth. It'll be a fourth if he stays on the roster in Jacksonville. It'll be a third if he reaches certain incentives, and it'll become a second for the Falcons if the Jags re-sign him to a contract extension. He was suspended back in March for violating the NFL's gambling policy for a year.
Yeah, I did some digging. He bet on the Falcons to cover a 2-point spread against the Jaguars last year in Week 12, and the Falcons won 21-14, and Ridley cashed.
Wow.
He bet $1,500. He's not a He doesn't have a gambling problem. He only bet $1,500.
Yeah, right. We talked about that in last year's show. That's not the question, bro. It's not what we're asking here. Like, it was illegal to do it. You shouldn't have done it at all. We're not asking how much you bet, or
It's so funny.
Classic answer. Yeah, I mean, for the Jaguars, like, if he is the Calvin Ridley that we saw before he got suspended for gambling, like, this is great. I mean,
yeah,
why not? And for the Falcons, like, the chances that he gets re-signed there are probably high if he does play well. So I think it's a kind of a win-win. He wasn't playing for them, so to at least get a fourth, if not, well, they got 2 picks. They got the fifth,
fifth,
and then
no matter what,
a fourth that could be a third or a second. So
great trade.
Pretty good.
I think so. Both sides.
Yeah, I agree.
Indeed. And then Doug Peterson said, or he was asked, like, how do you know that, like, Calvin Ridley isn't 260 pounds right now and, like, super unhealthy and, like, to play? And he was like, you just got to trust people and hope that eventually he passes his physical. I don't know, because in most of these trades, like, they're ready to play. So, like, do we know when Calvin Ridley would have to pass his physical? Would it be after his suspension, I assume?
I would have assumed it's when they make the trade.
Yeah,
that's typically what it is.
Conditional on the trade going through.
Right.
I mean,
that's typically what it is.
Otherwise, I have no idea.
It must be conditional on if he passes the physical, then, is what I'm assuming, then.
Because he's not going to play it all this year anyways.
No.
So in like a couple months from now, if he doesn't pass his physical, could he just still be a Falcon?
He's still working out.
He'd be a dumbass to not be working out. He's stupid.
He's working out. He was working out in August.
No, I think he's still working out. I mean, he's going to.
And then he posted a picture of his baby.
He's not old. Like, he was supposed to be. What was it, last year, before he, like, decided to take a mental health break? Like, he was projected to have the most receiving yards in the league. Like, he was going to be the best receiver in the league, and we haven't seen him in a year and a half.
I drafted him last year in the third.
Yeah, I remember that. We talked about that.
I picked him before Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Well, you were able to keep Cooper Kupp again.
I was able to keep Cooper Kupp, but
No,
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, wasn't good for fantasy owners at all. So we'll see how that trade ends up working out. The Colts sent running back Naheem Hines to Buffalo for running back Zach Moss in a 2023 sixth rounder. We haven't been able to talk to Griffin Massing about this, or excuse me, the League of Zest. But what do you guys think?
They upgraded the Bills. The Bills upgraded.
I don't really understand this.
Neither do I, because especially James Cook had a great
That's exactly what I was going to say.
He had a great game this week. So the logic behind it is minimal, in my opinion. Obviously, Hines is a veteran and great pass catching back. I think this is just dumb for the Colts. I mean, Taylor's not playing again this week, and they're playing Deion Jackson, and now Zach Moss, who might not even be able to play this week because he just got traded. I mean, it's kind of ugly.
Hines has
and they have Sam Ellinger. Oh my god!
Hines has been their number one option in everything essentially since Taylor went down. Like, not even just their best running back, like, he's been their top wide receiver some weeks.
It's an illogical trade. He's another guy going to be a free agent this offseason, so maybe there's the logic behind it, not trying to pay him.
I mean, it's logical for I mean, I get the point with James Cook, but I guess, as you said, like, it's just a loaner for the Bills to make a Super Bowl run. So absolutely. Like, it's not like they're have to pay him at all. So in that sense, I think it makes sense for the Bills.
I would also say that if you're a pass-heavy offense like they are, it doesn't necessarily make sense to have a bunch of running backs that are one-dimensional running the ball. You might as well have a bunch of pass catchers, even if they do like James Cook.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been
No, that makes
productive
sense.
because he's been the only option.
And I mean, you think about
stayed in games with him.
Think about teams that have won Super Bowls over the past couple of years. You have multiple running backs in each of their committees. So
injuries too.
Yeah.
This is just a puzzling.
I mean, it's puzzling nonetheless.
Now that we break it down, a lot of these seem like a lot less sensical than I thought.
This one, I feel like we're just going to forget about.
Mhm.
Like next year, we're just going to be like, oh yeah, I can't. Like we're just going to forget.
Unless he wins a ring, then you'll remember.
Who, Hines?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it all
Zach
depends.
Moss isn't winning a ring.
Unless he turns into
Indianapolis.
freaking. Who is the running back? James White. Unless he turns into like this random guy that saves the day.
Has like 3 touchdowns
James
in the Super
White,
Bowl and
King.
is the Super Bowl MVP.
That's a king.
Yeah,
Should
I
have
will never
been.
forget him.
Oh yeah, who won that year?
Brady.
Brady, bro.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't
Brady
one
To be
gave him
fair, he
Brady
orchestrated
gave him
the
the truck or whatever
28-3.
it was.
right?
Probably gave him the truck, the trip to Disneyland, Giselle for the
Oh,
weekend.
Well, Giselle for the life now.
Yeah, now she's available, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And now he's retired.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't talk. Did we talk
Yeah.
about? Was that last week? Before last week?
No, that was week 1. It's in the preseason, actually.
No,
No,
I
no.
mean, sorry, the divorce. I meant to say
The divorce was
No, I
this
don't think we
week.
did.
It was,
'cause
it was Friday.
Thursday or Friday.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because he lost to Lamar and then he gets divorced.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
I have a question.
Rest in peace to Tom Brady's kids. I'm sorry. You
What do you
didn't deserve
think-
any of this.
Oh.
What's the
They
They
didn't
didn't die.
They didn't die, bro.
They didn't
I'm
die. Go
talking
ahead.
about just like the life experience now.
Oh yeah, no, that
Yeah.
blows. Even though both their parents are billionaires, that
that's
blows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it
and-
can't be
and
good on
Bridget
your mental health
Moynihan.
whatsoever.
Oh no, I fully agree. But at
Your
least their
parents like
are
openly
billionaires.
beefing over your father playing football till he's 50 and not
Yeah.
retiring, and your mother being a supermodel and like getting posted with AB. Like this cannot be good for them at all.
Did you see what Antonio
Better
Brown
than your mom
said?
being a porn star.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Did you
What's
see
up
what
there?
Antonio, what he said the other day about he got asked on like something about the memes he was posting about like Giselle and Brady, and he said it literally like he must have never read the word. He must have never heard the word parody said
Oh,
out
yeah,
loud
yeah. I
before.
heard him say. I actually did see this. Yeah.
And he read it. He must have like his lawyer must have literally said to him like, "You got to say it's this so that way like you don't get in trouble." And he said it was parody. He goes, "Ah, it's parody. Don't worry about it.
It's parody. It's just parody.
Don't worry about it."
Yeah, and he was like, the picture happened. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
it didn't happen. Like, he was like, the moment happened. He's like, it was just something that happened that I posted.
He's a lunatic.
Oh, he's a lunatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he ever get sued for putting his butt in that lady's face in the pool?
I'm sure
No.
something. I don't know.
He was in a different country. He won't get in trouble.
He's been in a lot of different legal battles, so can't really follow it all.
My
All right,
question,
go
really
ahead.
quick. What do you think the money line is on Young Gravy bringing Giselle to an event as his date?
0.
I don't think he's that big. I think
Yeah.
he's internet big, but I don't think
You don't
he's
think he could swing it?
Giselle is the most famous and wealthy supermodel in the world.
We're
He
talking about the
cannot.
gravy, though.
He goes after TikTokers. He's not getting
Yeah.
Giselle
All I'm
Bundchen.
He doesn't have-
saying,
TikTokers.
he does not have
moms.
juice like that.
he's figuring out how to bring the older women as the dates. Very lovely older women. I don't know how he's doing it, but Giselle's on the market, and I feel like he'll be in the DMs.
You know, if
He
Giselle goes on a
he doesn't
date
have
with
the
him
juice.
or goes out with him, I think that Giselle. I can't wait to see what Brady and AB post after that happens. To downgrade from Tom Brady to a guy named Young Gravy who raps about having intercourse with mothers.
Yeah, if you don't know who this is, go look and go
Come on.
see.
He's a meme artist.
Come on, he's a meme artist.
Yeah.
a meme
Pat
artist.
Pat
That's
Morris
why
says this.
Zach looks up to him.
Look up to Young Gravy.
I mean,
Yes,
they're
you
meme.
do.
I guess they're meme artists in different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, because I'm a meme artist. Yes. I see
Bro,
now.
come on. You didn't put it together?
I know. I thought you were talking about the
It took.
moms.
I
was
got to
very
be
confused.
honest. Yeah, it took me a minute to
Oh,
put it
okay.
together too. So.
Yes,
Pat,
I am a meme artist.
Pat Morrisrow says AB to the Packers. Hey,
Oh yeah.
That'll
They
solve
can-
his problem.
they could use him.
Could you imagine?
He just needs to go on a vision quest with Aaron Rodgers.
And
That's all he needs. That's all he needs.
Shoot.
He'll be good in the
Oh.
backwoods of Wisconsin.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, maybe Green Bay will settle him down. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those were like those were the trade deadline.
Imagine.
day
Wait.
trades.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Imagine vouching for a man so hard, bringing him to your team in Tampa for him to post a meme with your wife that you're in a divorce battle with.
You let him live in their house.
You let him live in your home. You vouch for this man who is mentally ill, and then he posts a meme with your wife that you're getting divorced with.
Yeah.
Imagine the mental capacity to just shrug that off. I don't have it. I certainly don't have it.
Well, he shrugged it off publicly. I'm sure he's probably pissed.
I don't think he is.
You don't think so? I'd be
No.
upset.
I think he.
I think
just
he's more
cares about
upset
winning
that he's
football
never going to
games.
see his kids again.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't know if he's that upset about that either.
Well, he doesn't see his kids now, so
He's never going to see him again. He's not winning custody. You kidding me?
Dude, if he
Kidding
cared,
me?
he would have stayed retired. He wants to play another 5 years in the league.
well.
Like he literally
Smell you,
had
Tom.
he had no reason other than 100,000 passing yards to come back. That was his sole reason to
Yeah.
return. He has the most Super Bowls. He has multiple MVPs. He has tons and tons of records. Why come back, Tom? There's literally no point.
He's on such a high note too. We took
no point.
we
Tom
took
Brady
a,
fumbled the
Yeah.
bag. I've never said it. No one's ever really said that about Tom Brady, but
he
he fumbled the
fumbled.
bag.
He really did.
He fumbled the bag.
I mean, he fumbled his personal life bag for sure.
Well, he's got no wife and no wins. So
No, he also
fumbled
sucks
pretty
at football right now.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they're not good, and
He's
they're
on,
not playing well.
He's on the fucking decline right now.
Why is Craig McGrath saying that Cliff is pissed about something?
As always.
Let's find out what Cliff is pissed about. Oh, because he probably thinks that Cliff's coming on right now. Unfortunately, Cliff is not coming on. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
And
you
he-
just got to look at the four of us.
something that he for sure would be pissed about that I do kind of want to talk about is Zach Wilson's performance
Oh yeah.
on Sunday.
Thinking duty.
He's seeing ghosts.
He is now seeing ghosts. You're right. And his stat line was 20 for 41, so under 50% completion, 355 yards, which is deceiving as hell because
They're
that
all,
was just
yards
he
they're
threw-
all yards after the catch.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and had a 64.6 quarterback rating. He is by God making decisions that make absolutely no sense.
Mhm.
In fairness,
Making gunslinger decisions.
I
but
was
it's
just
like-
gonna say, in fairness, everyone calls him a gunslinger.
But it's not a good. Like Josh Allen is like the best gunslinger in the league. He's also maybe the best quarterback. But this kid, you're right. There's a difference between slinging balls and it's like impressive physically and just making really ridiculous decisions. Like Jameis is a goofy gunslinger.
Yeah.
Jameis in the Wild West would get killed in a gunfight any day. And so would Zach Wilson.
He doesn't want but his gunslinging stuff was the reason he was drafted. But he also doesn't want to stay in the pocket at all. He just wants to gunsling on almost every play.
Was it you, Matt, that
You can't
ranted
see
about
over
the
line,
throw?
guys.
The throw in his pro day.
Yeah, because he had
Yeah,
one throw
no,
and
dude,
everyone was
I'll
like,
go back.
"Whoa!"
Yeah, dude, that was the whole reason. We've talked about it though. That was the whole reason.
Yeah.
The baseline, him going undefeated at BYU, and then him just being a national superstar, and then having that throw in his pro day, and everyone was like, okay, yeah, he's the second behind Trevor Lawrence.
Some people were like, should the 49ers take Zach Wilson?
To be fair, he still is the second behind Trevor Lawrence because they all blow.
Well, yeah, they're not the baseline.
Oh, yeah,
the
they
benchmark
stink.
isn't good.
They're terrible. It's
We
so
thought
sad. We were
Michael
so
McCorkle
hyped.
was going to take the lead, but
Yeah, but
Of
like
course
so, like
it's not
most of
all
these
water.
kids, like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, like they were all under the microscope for way longer than just college. Like, wasn't it QB1 that
Oh my God, yeah.
they were a
Justin
part
yeah.
of?
Justin Fields
Justin Fields was a part of it.
Justin
And then-
Fields was fighting with Trevor Lawrence.
Right. And we knew about Trevor Lawrence in high school. Where he played in Georgia, I think.
Yeah.
And he was just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the next
He
arch or
broke-
the first Arch Manning.
He
The-
broke
the
all
next
of
he was-
Deshaun
Manning.
Watson's records. Minus
And he
the
was
amount of
also-
women assaulted.
Part of it, it's like that's like interesting is he was in our class for college. So like I remember he was like the first one to commit. He committed
Yes.
like our freshman year of high school or sophomore year of high school to Clemson.
Yeah. And then he
And
won the national championship his freshman
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, I don't know. That class has not lived up just yet.
No.
I mean,
It sucks.
I think the only one that's got solid promise is Lawrence, but he's on the Jaguars.
like he has promise and he has these, like he's had a couple games this year. He's actually been pretty solid.
His first like 4 weeks were just very, very good.
Right. But then just now, like he also like will have a really like I have to go back to PFF because I feel like it's a good explanation where like Sam Munson was saying he like everything that you want him to be perfectly, he does. Like he'll make a perfect throw to the point where it's like, oh my God, like that was insanely amazing. But then when he does something bad, it's to the absolute other end of the spectrum. Like it's just terrible. Like, why did he just do that? So like there's no consistency. And like you can see the incredible flashes of why he would be a very good quarterback. And he has not been on the best team. But right now, it's not like he has bad weapons. Like they're honestly playing pretty well. So
Does it remind you of anybody?
who?
That's the crawfish stealing king, baby.
Oh, Jameis. Yeah. I mean, he's on another level, bro.
Jameis makes I feel like I'm gonna vomit from my head spinning so hard watching a Jameis Winston game. But it's so much fun, is it not?
Oh, it's the most fun ever.
It gets
You have no idea what's ever happening. So yeah, it's
No.
awesome.
It's like it's a surprise.
well with the
It's like
spectrum,
Christmas.
like as with the spectrum as we were talking about, like one plays the best ever, and then the next one's a pick six.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of what we're
Yeah,
seeing with
80-yard
Trevor
bomb.
Lawrence right now.
Pick six.
Right.
Yeah.
And but with Zach Wilson, it's like you're seeing a couple good things, and then he just like pitter patters with his feet going backwards and just tosses it over his receiver into like two different linebackers. So
Yeah.
and then the one play he had rolling out where it's like, all right, dude, like there's no one downfield, like please throw it out of bounds. And he throws it right on the grass and white line and gets picked off. It's like, dude, why wouldn't you just huck it into the stands at that point?
Yeah.
You're not going to get intentional grounding. You're really close to the line of scrimmage. Like, I'm sure this is all what Cliff would be saying right now. And Cliff made a good point last week because he said his footwork has been awful. And he doesn't like when he makes those back foot throws. And even he threw another pick this week.
Same
He
way.
reminds me of my freshman football high school team where our offensive line was terrible. So our quarterback would immediately just either drop back 15 yards and scramble around or just run for his life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how he's been a lot this
I mean,
year.
he doesn't have like the offensive line is absolutely depleted.
Yeah.
But like it's like he doesn't even want to stay in the pocket. Like his first instinct is just run and then figure it out. But like the Jets aren't good enough, and neither is he to do that. So he's just putting himself in these horrible situations where he threw 3 picks on Sunday. Now, the other quarterback that played in that game, Eric, Mac Jones, did not play that well either.
No.
And the pick 6 he had was pulled back on a roughing the passer.
We have a very critical, very rational take from Juan from Middlebury. He chimes in that Zach Wilson's mom may in fact be hanging out with Young Gravy
Now
instead of Giselle.
there right there, that's a factoid, Mr. How does your dad know who Young Gravy is?
He probably just looked him up while Zach was talking about it.
Oh, that's fair.
He's probably got 3
Yeah, but also,
screens
how
in
would
the
he know that
office.
Zach Wilson's mom is also in the,
Why?
in the airs?
He's up to date.
Juan's not.
Well, yeah, he's up to date.
He's
Juan,
online
you
enough, I
are
guess.
you are a Marvel, Juan. You
You're
truly
a
are.
marvel. It's true.
I mean, he does listen to WFAN, and they made a big deal about it when that news came out. Obviously,
About the
with the
mom?
Jets. Yeah. I mean, it was all over the place. Like it was hard to miss.
It was hard to miss.
Juan also says, Cliff said, sadly, I just finished playing soccer, so I can't join. Yeah, that's what he told me earlier.
That's all right.
It's all right, Cliffy. We'll get you next week. It was tough after a Jets loss, but Eric, I mean, Bill Belichick wins another game against the Jets, 13-0 now.
Pretty usual. That's the one thing that's still been somewhat normal is we're still beating the Jets. We'll take that at the very least.
Right. No matter what quarterback you're playing with.
Yeah, small victories, I guess now is what I have to take now that I'm back down to earth in my fandom.
Yeah.
Mhm. Welcome
It's
to
all
it,
right.
buddy.
Welcome to.
Good being mediocre.
Now, I didn't get to see this game, but the Saints lost 24-0, or won
Good show.
24-0 against the Raiders. And Derek Carr
I
also
watched it.
did not have a great game. He went 15-26, 101 yards, 1 interception, and a 50.3 quarterback rating. Luigi, what happened?
The Raiders, they're like so bad. Like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Is it Joshy Beans?
Is it McDaniels?
Yeah.
Probably, because they have the same roster as last year and
Added
suck.
Devontae Adams.
And added Devontae Adams, and they suck. And they added Chandler Jones, and they suck. It makes very little sense to me right now why they're so bad. I don't even know. It doesn't make sense. They go 3-and-out every drive. Every drive. Like they don't have Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. It makes no sense.
I think Devontae had one catch for like 3 yards.
Their defense couldn't be worse. It might not be ranked statistically the worst, but I would take all 31 other defenses over theirs if I was starting a team.
Yeah. 24 points to Andy
And
Dalton
Alvin
played
Kamara
this week, right?
Also, Dalton's been playing. Jameis is healthy, but they've just liked the output that Dalton's been giving their offense, rightfully so. They're putting up like over 30 a game with him.
Juan said Carr gave me less than 2 fantasy points this week. That is brutal.
I almost added him over Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, jeez. Especially in a week that was like very, very good fantasy-wise. That's
fantastic.
Not great.
Offense.
I think Juan meant to say Kyrie.
Gruden is coaching Tyree.
I think he means Kyrie because they're in trouble for similar things.
I did see the anti-Semitic stuff from Kyrie.
Didn't he like?
What is wrong?
Didn't he say that he liked the movie that was anti-Semitic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he said anything outright that was like,
this is a football show anyway.
Yeah, either way, but
I don't want to speculate.
Yeah, Pat
Other
says
than the fact that he is just crazy.
Pat says I need Gruden.
He is crazy.
Or no, Pat says they need Gruden back.
Now, if you want to know about a real meme master, it's Patrick Marceau.
A meme artist.
Tyree. You love Tyree. Which Tyree do you like so much, Juan?
David Tyree.
David Tyree.
Probably David Tyree.
Definitely David Tyree.
All right, let's talk about all this offense we watched this week.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, so those were the struggles.
Took a pop.
Not good, but offenses went really well other than the Raiders. 659 total points across 15 games. That's a 49.3 points per game average. The Dolphins, man, I mean, this team is finally coming together. Wide receiver duo of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Hill had 188. Waddle had 106. 294 between the two of them and 2 touchdowns, both from Waddle. And then Tua, man, with a 96.8 PFF grade, highest for a QB this season. I mean, coming off like one of the worst injuries we've seen live on TV. Yeah,
he saw God.
He saw God, did not even know it happened, and still doesn't know that it happened because he doesn't remember it. That's like incredible that he's been able to do this.
It is. He makes every correct throw. I mean, you see it with his PFF grade, but he's been making every correct throw. It's not very hard when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, possibly the 2 fastest players in the NFL, because they're always open. But it's still impressive playing against good teams and winning football games. Their offense looks sick this week, though. Like, sick. Like, Tyreek Hill was always just available to catch the football, and then Waddle was taking the top off everybody. it's interesting, and I kind of like what they're doing. Is Waddle has been typically the slot guy. He's a big slot receiver. Everybody likes him playing slot. But they switch every other week. It's like Waddle plays slot this week, then Tyreek's playing slot this week, and then vice versa, and just keeps going back and forth. And this week we saw Hill in the slot. He had 12 catches for 188 yards. He was just always available, and then Waddle kind of took the top off everybody with his long touchdown catch. But I don't know. They're a contender at the minimum. They're a Super Bowl contender, especially with the Bradley Chubb deal this week. Gives them a legit pass rusher.
Yeah.
They're a legit contender for sure.
Yeah, they turned around the 3 picks that they got from you and turned it into Hill, Waddle, and Chubb. I mean,
Yeah.
and at least 2 out of 3 are panning out right now, and 1 hasn't even played yet. So yeah, I mean, this front office has done a fantastic job in turning this team around. And I mean, Hill definitely. I mean, Tua has been playing really well, but Hill and Waddle, I mean, they just make his job so easy. And like, even if Tua can't make the exact accurate deep throw, like Tyreek Hill just turns around and comes right back to it and still goes for 50 or 60 yards.
It's like Tua has the same job as a middle school teacher who would have like Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking in their classroom, where you don't need to teach them jack and they're just going to succeed immensely. That's like the kind of job he has right now. It's just easy. It's babysitting, getting the ball within 10 yards of them, and they'll be fine. Hey, good for him, man. The Dolphins set him up, and I don't know. They're a contender.
Playing well, and they just added Chubb and Wilson now. Another good running back who was good before he got hurt and was getting touches. He wasn't going to get any over Christian McCaffrey, obviously now, but adds another, good asset to their offense.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Before we continue, I did want to just briefly go over the Kadarius Toney, man. I mean, like to the Chiefs, I only thought of it because Juan said Toney is playing this week. That's just so annoying.
So
to me.
what?
I mean, at this point, it's like he wasn't playing for us. It's just like, and we did get decent value for a player that's not playing, kind of similar to the Calvin Ridley situation. But at least you knew that Calvin Ridley was like amazing beforehand. And it was just unfortunate that we used a first rounder on him. And now he,
when you could have had some much better football players.
True. Yeah.
Like much, much better.
Right. And the fact that the old regime didn't know that he was a bad locker room guy coming in and decided to take him anyways is just so annoying.
Bad. And he was a reach too.
Yeah, I mean, over those other receivers that we were looking at, I forget who was behind him, but it was definitely better than him being the 4th taken, I think, that year.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, I saw a tweet that said he's either going to be Tyreek Hill or absolutely nothing, and there's no in between.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that.
The man has no ACLs though. Like he's not built like Tyreek Hill.
He won't even be as good as Tyreek Hill. It's impossible.
He's was in fact the 4th receiver taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Juan said he's not a culture guy. I mean, yeah, he at least is not this Giants culture by any means. He hasn't even played at all.
Yeah.
And due to injury, but at the same time, even if he wasn't hurt, he didn't want to play anyways. So not bad. All right, but we can get back to the
I just want to see who was taken after Toney.
You want me to read it to you?
It's not.
Do you have it? Because I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, he had Quiddy Pay, Caleb Farley. They could have had Christian Darrisaw, which really would have helped you.
Could have had
Greg Rousseau,
Greg Newsome, who's a stud, Rashad Bateman, who I'd much rather have.
Eric you could have had Javante, but you don't need him. You could have had Landon Dickerson, which is not
Holland, who's a stud.
That is man. Who am I thinking about? Oh, no, not who I'm thinking about.
Actually, there Asante Samuel Jr. You could have had Aaron Banks, Rondale Moore,
Basically, Matt, what we're saying is you did a really bad thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that are better than him.
Yeah, I mean,
later.
The Steelers legend Pat Fryermuth.
the old regime didn't make very many good decisions at all.
Oh, Matt, you could have had your quarterback of the future, Davis Mills.
Oh, great. Exactly what I would have wanted.
You know
Wow,
who was
that-
taken
the-
one ahead of Davis Mills?
The
Kellen
what?
Mond, baby.
Oh, Kellen Mond.
This
experience.
2021 draft
The
class
experience.
could very well go down as one of the worst ever.
Yeah, I was hoping you weren't going to say
They-
best right
No,
now.
If none of those
No,
quarterbacks,
not
if those
good.
quarterbacks,
If those
don't pan
quarterbacks
out,
don't pan out, you got Jamar Chase, Waddle, J.C. Horn, Pat Surtain, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, Slater, and that's it. That's like it falls off like the side of the earth after.
What
that.
about Javante?
He could be good, but it's still a little early.
Health.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
Health, stay healthy, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah, it stinks. Remember the Alex?
I mean,
Leatherwood
so I
pick?
guess
What a good pick.
Leatherwood.
pick-
Oof.
our pick wasn't good, but I guess it makes me feel a little bit better that the rest weren't that
No
good
one else.
either.
Yeah, no one else had good picks.
And like he did have like one game
Titans.
one game last year we had like 200 yards receiving, but then he got hurt like 2 weeks after. So it's just he wasn't going to stay healthy, but it'll be very interesting to see if he stays healthy with the Chiefs. All right. So let's get back to the good offensive days, dude. The Eagles, it's just a nonstop machine, and AJ Brown had a hat trick by half in terms of touchdowns, 290 passing yards from Jalen Hurts and 111 rushing yards. They moved to 7-0, their best start since 2004, and the best start for the NFC East as a division since the merger, I believe, at 23-8.
jeez.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that'll start falling off once the
The
Giants and
NFC beast.
Commanders start actually playing people.
it's true.
Um, And I
Go ahead.
mean, the top two teams, I mean, the Eagles are possibly, this might be one of the best teams as a complete whole we've seen since that Tampa team 2 years ago.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, just at every position they
have
have a talented
studs.
person, and
Yeah.
their offensive line is like ridiculous.
And so
as
is
well.
their defensive line. It's
And they added Robert Quinn just because.
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't
Howie Roseman has done an unbelievable job with this team.
he's night and day. I mean, even though they were Super Bowl champions a couple years ago, they have the fourth youngest roster in the NFL. The
Yeah, it's exciting.
fourth youngest roster in the NFL, and they're 7-0 right now. Someone posted on, I saw the TikTok, I think, and it was the average age of teams, and the fifth youngest was the Bengals, and the caption was like, "Yo, the Bengals, bro!" And all the comments were, "How are you going to comment on the Bengals when the Eagles are have a younger team and are 7-0 right now?" It's like ridiculous.
It's
Yeah,
true.
that is
The Lions
insane.
have the youngest team in the NFL, in case anyone was interested in knowing.
I'd hope so.
I mean, they just traded for more picks to get younger. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this Eagles team is really good, especially in not the strongest NFC that we've seen.
No,
they're
very
just-
bad.
They're gonna keep winning, and like the NFC East also has the easiest schedule. So I don't remember. We went over the Eagles like remaining schedule like after like week 2, and I don't remember how many games we're through now.
They got past their hard games. They're like going into
those were the hard
easier-
games.
The Cardinals and the Cowboys were their hard games. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the Texans this week. Win. Commanders at home.
Win.
I mean, just being at home.
They're gonna keep winning.
Colts on the road. Packers at home. Titans at. I mean, I guess the Titans. is their
There's
next,
one.
Yeah, like,
I think
tough
we had
game.
only looked at it through week 8. I
Yeah, no,
think.
that's what I was curious about. I think
Yeah.
probably through last week, we looked at it. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, they're controlling the NFC East, but I mean the Cowboys are right behind them, and the Cowboys put up 49 points this week, and we can kind of go right into what they did with Tony Pollard. They had 442 total yards, 242 passing, 200 rushing, and 6 touchdowns overall. Tony Pollard had a hat trick as well. Yeah, I mean they played great.
Yeah, I think it's a little further down, but they asked Jerry Jones after the game, like, what is his plans with Pollard after his like career game. He had 14 carries for 131 yards and 3 touchdowns on 14 carries. He was rushing for 9 yards a carry. And they asked Jerry Jones, well, Tony Pollard is clearly ridiculous. What are you going to do about it? He goes, we're going to play Zeke. He's going to start. He brings a bruising element to the running back game. And I'm just sitting there kind of lost. Tony Pollard will be a free agent after this year, but the Cowboys offense looks sick with Dak back. Dak looks to be fully healthy. He had a couple great throws to CeeDee Lamb, who had a touchdown and 70-plus receiving yards this week. And their defense still looks really good. So,
yeah, they've looked great. And as
Crazy.
Pat Morrisroe said, Dak finally shows up, and Jerry Jones said the same thing about when they were asking him who would play quarterback when Dak comes back and is healthy. He was like, obviously Dak, and that was a money situation. And I saw something that said, Zeke is essentially a money situation too, because they are paying him a lot not to play. So like they definitely want him back in the running game, but at the same time, like I think quarterback to running back is a little bit different. Like you have to use one quarterback pretty much every time, but you don't have to use Zeke all the time. So if they can both be good, and Tony Pollard clearly is having a great season so far. I mean, him being a bruising back at the goal line for Zeke could be very helpful for them. All right, next up, Falcons and Panthers overtime and regular time thriller. Falcons ended up winning this game 37-34, 64 pass attempts for 570 yards and 4 touchdowns, a lot of offense, 73 rushing attempts for 336 yards. Carolina had 478 total yards, Atlanta with 406, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, and obviously the play of the game was DJ Moore on a pass from PJ Walker, 60 yards down the field into the end zone to tie the game in the fourth quarter. He takes off his helmet and goes out of the end zone, which is an excessive celebration penalty. You're not allowed to do that, which ended up being a 15-yard penalty on the PAT, and it was ended up missing by Eddie Pinheiro, who also ended up missing a field goal in overtime as well.
Yeah, this game was nuts. Did you know that they both had, the score was 13-13 going into the fourth quarter?
Oh, so this was all in the
scored
fourth quarter.
6 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
That's crazy.
And then added on a field goal in overtime. The one thing I wanted to say, and then I'll let you guys talk about it, but PJ Walker's pass to DJ Moore went 67.8 air yards, which is the longest since that stack's been tracked since 2016. So it's the most air yards from any pass thrown in 6 years, which is incredible for a guy who was playing in the XFL 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he said back-to-back games that have been fantastic.
I think he needs to be focused on a lot more. I think that he is a good quarterback in this league, and I don't think he gets the chance to show that off enough.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment...
And he's 2.
Oh.
Nope, there he goes.
Oh, there he goes.
Frozen? I think he was going to say he's 2-0. Yeah, he is 2-0.
Do a screenshot of that. Oh,
there he is. He's back. He's 2-0. And it could be another situation, as you said, someone who doesn't get looks and such, as maybe to Geno Smith. I mean, like another guy who hasn't gotten looks and has played fantastic football. And now it's nice because PJ Walker maybe wasn't a great quarterback when he was kind of just filling in and didn't have confidence to be the starter. But like, how can you can't look at that 67 point whatever, yard pass and be like, oh no, like we probably should, move forward with this guy, at least for the time being. Like he's their option, and Baker's not doing that. Now there's Sam Darnold. So yeah, I agree. I think this could be a shot. Zach, do you have any opinions?
Why is Eddie Pinheiro still in the league?
Very fair.
I mean, didn't we learn our lessons in Chicago?
What was it? Was he the double doink?
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I guess not.
That's my takeaway. Get him.
Valuable takeaway.
Get him out of here, man.
Yeah.
XFL coming soon, Eddie.
Oh yeah,
when another job, bud.
When is that coming?
The double doink was Cody Parkey.
Cody Parkey. You're right.
Cody Parkey.
I was gonna say.
Well, Eddie
He wasn't
Pinheiro,
very good either.
Gosh, Saturday,
Wow.
February 18th, 2023 is the start of the XFL.
Oh, excellent.
Sick.
So very excited. All right. Dante Foreman also had 3 touchdowns rushing. And that's been, if you picked him up in fantasy, I mean, that's been a star since Christian McCaffrey left, which has been fantastic for them. And they're playing well. I mean, they almost won 2 games in a row without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But then the penalty on DJ Moore. I mean, I didn't get to see exactly. I guess he wasn't in technically the end zone, but he was like in the back area of it when he took it off, and the emotions just took him over.
Yeah, there's a couple referees who commented on it saying they wouldn't have thrown the flag. Like former referees that said they wouldn't have thrown the flag. In my opinion, like if you're doing that in the second quarter when you're up by 30, or you're doing that in the second quarter when you're down by 20, or you're doing that in the second quarter, not a game-winning pass. Like, you let the dude celebrate, in my opinion. My personal opinion. I say chuck your helmet wherever the hell you want to chuck it. Like Stephon Diggs didn't get a penalty after he chucked his helmet after the Minnesota Miracle.
I think he did, but it didn't matter because they had won outright and didn't need to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
In my head, he didn't.
Yeah, well, he was standing in the end zone, ripped it, and then just chucked it. I mean, it looks sick, but like, I mean, for the moment,
let the man chuck his helmet.
It was awesome.
You just scored a touchdown. You as a referee could never do that in your life.
Right. In DJ Moore's respect, like he's not thinking about that. Like he just did something absolutely absurd. But for the team, he didn't. He pushed them back, and then Eddie Pinheiro didn't come through either. So didn't help them at all. All right. Browns Monday night bounce back. This was a weird game. We all took the Bengals, but the Browns threw for 278 yards and ran for 172. Nick Chubb is absolutely dominant. There was a video of some guy walking around the Browns tailgate before the game, and he was like, "So, like, what do you want the Browns' plan to be tonight?" And everyone was like, "Run the ball, run the ball." They were like, "We have Nick Chubb. It makes no sense not to run the ball." And
they're right.
It's fair. I mean, they won running the ball.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Amari Cooper had a good game. Brissett
He had a great game.
2 picks.
Amari Cooper actually helped me beat Ents this week, which was a
nice.
much needed win in the league.
Hey-o.
And
is
now
that you win this week?
Standing gets closer.
Is that 3 wins in a row?
Oh, you won?
Are you piecing it together there, buddy?
I'm 3-5.
Wow, because being able to pick up Kenneth Walker and Dante Foreman must be huge. Love that. Must be nice to be able to pick anybody up. I couldn't even pick up a kicker this week.
I know. I took him. I took him from you again.
I can't even. Every single guy I've tried to pick up this entire season. Goff a couple weeks ago. Walker a couple weeks ago. Foreman a couple weeks ago.
Eagles defense.
Eagles defense a couple weeks ago. Younghoe Koo this week.
Oh, no, I didn't take Younghoe Koo. Someone else did that. I took the better one.
A kicker. I couldn't even pick up a kicker.
I took the kicker that was rated for more points than that.
Yeah, Luigi, honestly, I don't think it's doing you any favors being in first right now because like the gap is closing and you're not like able to pick anybody up.
I can't even pick up anybody on the waiver wire. Even if I
I'm
try,
a bottom
I have to wait till Wednesday and be like, okay, so now that everybody picked up who they wanted, who do I get? Like, well, who am I picking? Who's just left over?
Shimmy and shake. Well, Najee Harris turns out to be a stinky guy. So guess what? I had to substitute some running backs, and I have.
Yeah, and I mean, you picked Foreman over Chuba, which is good. Smart. Anyone who did the opposite is dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's now the feature back when they thought it might be a split backfield. I mean, it was kind of last week, but now, I mean, Foreman with 3 touchdowns. He came out as the clear favorite.
Yeah, 18 carries, over 130 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, Chuba's not seeing the field for a bit.
No. So yeah, good stuff from that game. I mean, it was wild, and yeah, now in fantasy, it's getting weird. It's getting closer. A couple.
Yeah. What are you now? What are you 4-4 now?
Yeah, dude. It was a major win over Ends. If I didn't win over Ends, like I would have been in a 3-5 hole, which ultimately is still 2 games back. But like now I'm only a game back.
I think you and
got Ends down
you
a
and
game
Enrique
too.
are both 4-4 behind me, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then I think Pat and
3-5. They're both 3-5.
Yeah, 3-5. So still only 2
So
games.
Yeah, Pat and Ryan are
Liam.
both 3-5. I mean,
And Liam.
this league we talk about all the time. This
Every
league is
year,
so
man.
competitive. There's the lowest, the worst team is 3-5. Zach is technically the worst team with the least points, 4.
Yeah, I am.
And then the best team, there's 4, 5-3 teams, and the best is technically Brennan with 1,100 points, 4.
40% of the league is 3-5.
Yeah, and then 60% is 5 or not 60%, and then
Another
30%.
40%.
Yeah,
40%.
it's crazy.
5-3.
It's crazy,
And 20%
crazy,
is 4 and
crazy,
4.
crazy. I actually moved up in the final standings projections.
Did I?
I don't know if you have this. No, you dropped from 4 to 9.
Yeah, I don't.
I went
That
from
makes no
3
sense.
to 2,
Well,
and
not that.
ends is 2 to 1. Matt, you're in third though.
Coming back, making comebacks.
Woo!
Exciting.
Yeah,
Needed that
if I
win.
beat Enrique this week, I'll be in the driver's seat for our division.
Indeed. All right. Eric, let's talk the first college football playoff standings. You want to run through it?
Yes. Yeah. So let me get the doc up. So we've got Tennessee's number 1, which is interesting.
Big jump.
Big jump. They beat Bama. I mean, they're in the AP poll, they're 2 and Georgia's 1. So it's just flip, or actually no, it's not flip.
No,
Georgia's
Ohio
3
State
is 2.
in the college
Yeah.
football.
Yeah. So Ohio State is 2, which is interesting.
I agree with the college football rankings much more than I agree with the AP, which is weird
do
because
I.
normally they're the exact same.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with them. I think Tennessee has proven
They have a
three
win
teams,
against a top 6 team.
Yeah,
no one else.
The other 3 teams don't.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. No one else could say that.
Yeah, so I think it makes a lot of sense, and their offense is ridiculous. They're putting up, I just had it up, they're putting up 49.3 points per game. Like, they're just Jalen Hyatt, their wide receiver, has more touchdowns than like multiple teams.
He also, I believe, is on pace to smash all of Devontae Smith's numbers from his Heisman season.
I think so too. So he's been going crazy. So their team is awesome. Then Ohio State, who's putting up almost as many points per game than them, they've just been crazy. And then it's Georgia and Clemson. Clemson is like, I don't know. They just beat up on the ACC, and the ACC stinks. Yeah. So I don't really know what to think. They play Notre Dame this weekend. That'll be an interesting one. I mean, Notre Dame's not great, but it's at home in South Bend. So
beat Syracuse last week.
Yeah, which was a good win.
A good Syracuse team.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of starting to pull it a little bit together. I mean, they're still not ranked, but you know what? If they beat Clemson, be pretty happy with that. Knock them out of the playoff right there. And then obviously it's Tennessee, Georgia, Saturday afternoon, which is massive game. Massive game. The SEC, it just means more. It's literally what it is. It just means more.
Yeah, and then I mean Texas and Oklahoma joining is going to even heighten that as well.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Just so the 2 of them can get beat up on.
Yeah, I mean basically.
Well, Texas, maybe not. We'll see.
Maybe not.
Maybe with Arch, as long as they play Arch and dump Quinn Ewers.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't think
bum ass
a plan to do that.
Worst quarterback in college football. Got paid millions of dollars as a high schooler to come suck ass at Texas.
Kid show.
It's on YouTube now.
Yeah, and then we also got, I mean, pretty much it's also Bama LSU Saturday night, which is also another huge game. That's a top 15 matchup. If Bama loses, they're done, which will be interesting.
Yeah,
they're definitely
never happens, man. They're never done.
Never happens. At the very least, like right now, they're still in play with the SEC championship game. If they lose this game, they're gone. Which I don't think they're gonna, but it's in Death Valley.
And LSU's playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Do you feel like Michigan is stronger than Clemson?
I think they are, yeah. Yeah, I think they are. And we'll find out, definitely. Clemson, we might not. If Clemson gets in, so if Ohio State beats Michigan and Bama either loses Saturday or loses in the SEC championship game, and Clemson gets in, I think they lose by like 35 to Tennessee or Georgia, whoever it is. Just because we haven't seen anything from them. And honestly, even if they kill Notre Dame, I won't really take much from it.
Yeah.
So
Clemson's their D line is sick this year.
Yeah.
Like sick. But the rest of the team, I haven't really
Is
heard much
Ugalele
about.
still playing? Didn't he get benched?
He did get benched, but I think they brought him back.
Yeah, they
Okay.
brought him back.
But yeah, I think that if they beat Notre Dame and Michigan loses to Ohio State, like they're gonna get in most likely, which is kind of stupid. But
It's
I
just
don't
how
know.
it is. Unless Wake
just
Forest
how
beats
it
them in the ACC championship or something.
Yeah, which they already played this year, so I don't know if they'll play that game again. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't. I don't know. I forget what division Wake Forest is in. But that'll be interesting. And then also just quickly, UConn football beating BC for the first time ever.
It was
That was
amazing.
awesome.
With
Yeah, you were
Zachary in
there, Zach.
attendance.
Talk
Oh,
about it.
tailgate of the game.
Oh my God, it was so
Yeah.
much fun. Yeah, so we have this kid. His last name is Mitchell. He's number 8, and he's a monster. He's a
His
freaking
last
monster.
name's Mitchell. Jackson
Mitchell.
Mitchell, bro.
Jackson
He's from
Mitchell.
Connecticut.
He's from Richfield.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gross.
He's a
After a forced fumble, he came over to the fans and what do you say? I'm a dangerous man. That's what he said. He kept saying that.
He could very well be drafted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then there was like a little posse of like 12, 13-year-old kids, and they were yelling first round pick. Like that.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
so that was really
He didn't go that far, but
Yeah.
he's like a off-brand, not terribly off-brand. He's not like a Walmart brand, but he's like an off-brand Isaiah Simmons.
He's a roster maker. I mean, he's a
He's
good
a roster
tackler. He's
maker, for
fast.
sure.
He's athletic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's second in the country in tackles right now at like almost 12 per game. And then he is it just got announced. He's a semifinalist for the Butt Kiss Award.
Butkus,
So
yeah, it's huge.
top 15 linebacker in the country, which is pretty huge.
Mhm.
So, and I mean, just the stuff Mora is doing with this team is absurd. To be a Power 5 team for the first time in like, I think it's 6 years, 7 years. I don't know. Pretty happy about that. And beating Boston College is just awesome.
Yeah,
They're
sick.
getting all that ACC money just to put up 3 points against UConn and East Hartford. Like,
Our
right.
defense is dirty.
It's
so
dirty.
good.
Dirty.
Our defense is good, which is crazy because a couple years ago we had the worst in recorded college football history. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And some of these guys were like Jackson Mitchell started on that team. He
What, the
started on
bad
that
team?
team and yes.
He's
and
been
so
a
did Ian
starter for
Swenson.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. And so did Ian Swenson. Both of them
Ian
started on
Swenson,
that
who I
team.
saw in the bar every weekend, who was
Yeah.
playing football every weekend as well. Never made much sense
Yeah.
to me. Good for him.
Hey, he's having a good year. We'll
Shout
take
out
it.
to the man.
He's like 25, so
Yeah,
take
he's
it.
old. He was older than us. It made no
Yeah.
sense.
yeah.
Then I saw him in Huskies when we were like juniors, and I was like, ugh. Seems like
All
a
right.
good guy. Though.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
I was
and
like,
then- and then we've got college basketball this week, starting Monday.
Yes. Monday night.
yeah,
Stone
I will
Hill.
be there.
Can't wait. Let's go, baby.
Who will be there?
Can't wait.
I will.
Oh, you're
I will
going?
be.
I'm
I'll be
going.
there also.
Where is it at Gamble? or
Hartford?
Excel?
It's in Hartford.
Hartford.
Hartford,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Nice.
I'm
Yeah.
getting taken by the list monster.
Really, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Gonna win tailgate of the game.
No, we're not talking.
Yeah. In the
The
bottom
Ukrainian
the
lady
XL
of the game.
center. Yeah.
not
The Ukrainian
Ukrainian.
lady attendant of the game. It is the
It was-
Ukrainian
Oh,
lady.
that is such
Yeah.
Oh,
a
now I
small
understand what's
pigeonhole
happening.
joke that only few people fully understand.
Yeah.
I
I
love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
I thought you were
Um,
calling her Ukrainian. I was like, what are you talking about?
The best attendant in the Ukrainian lady
Yeah.
of the game.
Oh, Matt, that was great. That was great.
According to someone on UConn Twitter, Adama Sanogo made a 3-pointer in the scrimmage for the blue-white game tonight.
Well, he's
We'll
been
see
making
what
3-pointers in the
Oh,
videos. they've been
Adama?
posting.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah,
Stretch
wasn't
5,
Andre
Adama
making
Sanogo.
3-pointers in the videos last year? Still shot bricks at the backboard.
He shot
He
better.
shot
better-
well
he had
throughout
a
the
much better
season,
year.
but
Yeah.
I mean,
He had a
Yeah,
much
it sucks
better
not to
year.
have him starting out the season though.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe give those guys who are fighting at point guard a little bit more time on the court. So we'll see who ends up coming out of that battle.
So hyped.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's always an exciting time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Monday, and then you're gonna try and go Friday, right, Luigi?
I'll be there. Yeah,
I'm
I'll be
going,
there the
yeah.
whole weekend.
You're gonna go Friday.
Hopefully Jordan can get us those tickets that we demand.
If not, I'll
Yeah.
buy a ticket.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
It's gonna be cheap as hell.
Yes,
it's
not a big deal to me.
BC.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right. Very exciting stuff for UConn. Quickly, the Commanders, before we get into the picks, the Commanders owner, Dan Snyder, has hired the full Bank of America to help him sell the team.
The whole bank.
The
Guys,
entire
we
bank.
should buy the Commanders.
I saw some
Convince all of our parents to sell everything they have and still not even
And
have a
buy-
tenth of the money.
The Washington Commanders.
I saw
Yeah, we'll live out of that crap stadium for the rest of our
yeah,
lives.
too.
I'm
I saw
down.
I saw a tweet where it was like, if Twitter pooled all of their money into buying the Commanders or an NFL team, and we were able to vote as
That'd
like
be
a
so
Twitter
fun.
group, who gets to run the team,
That'd
what
be
coach we're
so
hiring.
fun.
Yeah, like just like thousands and hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of minority owners. But at the
that'd
same
be
time,
so
like
fun.
everyone gets an individual vote.
It'd be
Keep
crazy.
talking about something. I have to use the.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
all right. Let's see, before we can get into the picks. Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, needs to be fired. And if he isn't fired by the end of the season, I don't know what they're doing. This offense is absolutely atrocious with him. He's doing nothing good for them. Ryan Loisel sent me. So I've been texting Ryan Loisel about it, and like they just traded Claypool, so you're losing a wide receiver now. And he said that Matt Canada hasn't even he's been an offensive coordinator in college a lot, and he hasn't had above I guess Pitt's the outlier. He had the 10th best offense in college football, but the highest after that is 41. And it's like 38. Indiana 4 years, 38, 90th, 97th, 84th, 56th, Wisconsin 60th, NC State 98th, 57th, 41st, LSU 76th, Maryland 69th. Like
none of those teams were good, at all.
And like their offense wasn't good either. So like it's like Canada's not even a good college coordinator. He has no like backing to him. I just don't think they should
Get
keep
him
him
out.
anymore. Get him out.
Figure it out, man.
Send him away. Steelers got to figure it out. And
I thought he was going to be gone this week already.
you would think. And the only thing that I'm thinking he is staying is because maybe Tomlin doesn't want to bring. I don't know why Tomlin wouldn't just fire
Tomlin
him.
doesn't want to call the offense, probably.
I mean, is
Maybe.
he I don't even know is he a defensive based guy at this point? Like I don't even remember because he's just been the head coach of the Steelers.
He's been the head coach of the Steelers forever.
Like basically our entire life.
It really has. I don't know. I'm
think-
actually going to look that up.
I think he is.
I think he is.
A defensive guy.
I thought
Either
he
that
was.
or-
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
blew
what
my mind when I
I'm
found
thinking.
out John Harbaugh was special teams.
Yes, he's special teams. I knew that.
I found that out 3 years ago, maybe. Something like
Yeah,
that.
I
was
mean,
like, whoa.
and I guess either maybe he doesn't want to call the offense, or maybe they just don't want to throw Kenny Pickett even more into the fire without like continuing consistency. But like they're consistently bad, so
Right.
there has to be a change to be made. And this isn't a season where they're going to make the playoffs or do anything special. We know this. Like the injuries are there.
He's a
defensive. Okay,
Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator for Arkansas State, then Cincinnati, then Tampa Bay Bucks, then Minnesota, and then he's head coach. Started at Virginia Military Academy or Institute, as the wide receivers coach. Then he was a grad assistant at Memphis. Pretty cool.
Worked his
Right.
way up.
And then he's been the Steelers head coach for basically our whole life. And we've talked about how bad like the Broncos offense and the Colts offense have been. What are you
Wait,
gonna say?
he was actually a wide receiver for VMI. So he's got a
Interesting.
military background too. Interesting. Every time I hear more about him or read more about him, I just like him more and more.
Yeah.
No, he's a great coach. I mean, it's not like
He's
they're
from
ever gonna get
Newport
rid of him.
News too. You guys know about Newport News?
I know the shipyards down there.
The shipyard's down there, Mister.
Isn't there a lot of folks
Nuclear Boy
that are out of there?
But out of Newport News also comes out AI, Allen Iverson, and Michael
okay.
Vick.
And Mike Vick. Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
That's right. AI and Mike Vick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Still the bunch.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos and Colts offenses have been bad, but like the Steelers are scoring the lowest points in the league at 15 a game. And they have a rookie quarterback, of course, but like the talent around him isn't all that bad. And it's just the choice of play calling, just everything in between. It's just, and I mean, it's ugly. And this is the worst team that Mike Tomlin's had.
By
far. But like, this is now a point where he's like, we got to make decisions. Like it was the same offense last year with a sitting duck in Roethlisberger, and it's not like they did much there anyways. And it doesn't help that Najee Harris really, I don't know what he's doing. Did you see the play where he got like he was like in the flat as like a check down, and then like he had like 2 yards to go for the first down and easily could have just plowed through the corner and just decided to like shimmy and then got tackled like by 6 guys behind the line.
I didn't see that, but I know he got out carried by Jalen Warren, which is bad.
I don't know what's going on. Bad. All right, let's get into
it. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make
Maybe
any sense.
He's hurt. The only explanation I would have is he either regressed heavily, which doesn't sound right, or he has been hurt all year, and they're keeping it under wraps.
It's possible. I mean, he was hurt at the beginning of the year and still played.
Yeah.
But he's also making decisions that are a little bit odd comparatively to how he was last year. So,
but most of his decisions could be explained by an injury.
True. It's true. So, maybe he's not confident in himself.
No.
All right, let's get into the picks. Week 9 picks. Eric, you're the outright dog at this point.
Hey,
50.
Let's go, baby.
I'm second at 71 and 51, and Zach and Luigi are at 69 and 53. 2 games back from me and 3 back from Eric. All had pretty good weeks, 10 and 5, 11 and 4. Great stuff. Let's toss on the tunes here, and let's get right into it. Thursday Night Football, 8:20, Eagles 7-0, 13.5-point favorites at the Texans, 5-1. Taking the Eagles every week, and they've won every week, so I don't understand why I wouldn't take them again against the Texans, excuse me. So I'm going to take Philly.
Yeah, I'm going to take Philly too. This should be a pretty ugly game.
They should cover the 13.5. I have very little doubt. I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles also.
First 1:00 game, Bills 6-1, another 13-point favorite at the Jets 5-3. I'm going to take Buffalo.
Yeah, no reason to take New York here. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, the Jets definitely look like regression is coming, that the real team's going to settle in here. The Bills are also just good at football. So.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills as well. I think, Luigi, you were spot on about that. I think it was like last week when we were talking to Cliff, like there's going to be regression, and we saw it like immediately this week.
The New York teams, man, they can't hold on for too long.
No, I mean the depth.
Their rosters and the depth that they have based on injuries for both
Yeah.
teams, it's just not attainable.
No,
They don't have
I mean-
enough superstars to make up for the lack of depth.
No, I was texting Cliff about it, and we were talking about the trade deadline, how we didn't, like, neither of us made moves, but it's like we're not in a position to trade away picks to like go forth in this season, especially with the Giants being behind the Eagles and the Cowboys, who are clearly more talented and have better depth than them, and also with the Jets kind of fighting for the 3rd place in the division with the Pats behind the Dolphins and the Bills. So yeah, not in a position. The depth's not there. The injuries don't help at all. Exciting to see them actually win with good coaching, but like other than that, it's not like we're making a Super Bowl run or a playoff run at all. So it's been good, but it's still a rebuilding season. Bills across the board. 1:00 Chargers 4-3, 3-point favorites at the Falcons 4-4. The Falcons have been playing pretty decent football. Hoping that the Chargers will bounce back a bit. I'm going to take the Chargers. Zach?
Pass.
Pass.
Okay. Does that mean you're just rethinking your pick?
Yeah.
Okay, reasonable. I don't know why the Chargers are so bad. Apparently, Keenan Allen got more hurt in the bye week.
Great.
Which is just not ideal considering they don't have Mike Williams and they're likely not going to have Keenan Allen this week. So that would make Joshua Palmer, if healthy, because he's also coming off injury, their number 1 receiver, and DeAndre Carter, their number 2 receiver. So now I understand why Zach's still hesitant, but I still think that the Chargers are a better football team and have a significantly better quarterback. So I'm picking the Chargers.
Eric?
I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think I've taken them in a couple weird spots this year where I honestly didn't really think they were going to win, but they ended up winning. So I'm going to ride with the Falcons in a weird pick here.
Reasonable.
Have you thought it over?
3-point spread makes
I'm going to join you, Eric.
Exactly.
I'm going to join you, Eric. They're coming off of riding the Lightning against the Panthers. Big time win. Depleted Chargers. Home teams worked out good for me last week, so I'm going to take Atlanta.
All right, split down the middle. 1 o'clock. Colts 3-4-1 at the Patriots 4-4, 5.5-point favorites to the Pats. Pats defense looks pretty good. Colts don't look good on offense. Sam Ehlinger, Bill Belichick usually wins over bad quarterbacks. I'm going to take New England.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. These are 2 teams that are super uninteresting, to be frank. Sorry, Eric. But I'm going to have to take the home Pats.
2 reasons. 3, sorry. 3 reasons. Pats at home. No Jonathan Taylor. And Bill against these shit quarterbacks.
Get chill.
Taking the Englanders.
Yeah, I'll be going with the Pats, and definitely Ellinger's second start ever. I think Bill's gonna he's gonna be in for a tough day.
4th reason. All 3 of our teams have buys, so Eric's the only team playing this week. So
Go
4th
Pats.
reason is to say go Pats.
That's right.
All right, Patriots across the board. 1 o'clock. Dolphins 5-3, 5-point favorites at the Bears 3-5. Dolphins are rolling. I'm going to take Miami.
I'm going to take Miami too. The Bears got Chase Claypool. Good for them. They lost their best player. So, go Miami.
Yeah, Miami's on a hot streak. And I think it keeps going.
Yeah, I agree with Miami, and I agree with Zach's analysis there.
Roll the tape, baby.
All right, Miami across the board. 1 o'clock. Packers 3-5, 3.5-point favorites at the Lions 1-6. This is definitely a weird game now that the Packers are struggling, and it seems like maybe the Lions can score more than them. But until Aaron Rodgers at the same time loses to the Lions, I'll still take Green Bay. So Green Bay.
Yeah, I agree with you. Green Bay. He doesn't really lose to the Lions.
Yeah,
and they just lost their best weapon.
Yeah, he doesn't typically lose in the NFC North if it's not the Vikings. So Packers.
Zach?
Could be a bounce back game they need.
I'm taking Green Bay.
Okay, Green Bay across the board. 1 o'clock. Panthers 2-6 at the Bengals 4-4, 7.5-point favorites to the Bengals. Panthers are been playing better football, but I don't think the Bengals lose 2 in a row, especially at home. I'll take Cincinnati.
Yeah, I've been sitting here waiting for the Bengals to really show what they can be, and it sucks to have Jamar Chase out, but they can't lose to the Panthers, man. I mean, I have enough faith in them to pick them in this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals as well. Their Burrow's playing pretty okay this year. He had a rocky week this past week, but the Browns defense is a lot stingier than anything that they'll see against the Panthers this week, and a nice home game won't hurt them either.
Yeah, I like Cincinnati also. I think another game that they can kind of get used to playing without Jamar Chase, they'll look a little bit better probably.
Cincy across the board. 1 o'clock. Raiders 2-5, 2-point favorites at the Jaguars 2-6. I hate this game. I don't have a pick right now. Luigi,
it's an ugly game.
Why are you taking Jacksonville?
I'm taking Jacksonville because 1, they're at home. 2, the Raiders were the worst football team I watched this week. And 3, I don't know if there is a 3. I think those are my only 2 reasons. Vegas, although makes me question myself, but at the same time, Vegas doesn't know everything. They just know a lot.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacksonville also. I think the Raiders look awful, and Jacksonville's typically not good at home. They're tricky at home, so I like them at home.
Duval.
Zach.
To be
Yeah.
fair, this is also a game I could easily see the Raiders winning, like very easily.
Like,
Yeah,
I can
for
see
no
them
reason.
winning, but I don't want to take them because I've taken them so many times and they've lost.
They lose almost every time.
Yeah, they
I pick
lose.
them.
You
And
know
I
what?
feel. Go ahead, Zach.
I'm going to take the Raiders. My buddy, big Raiders fan, I'll throw him a bone. And the Jaguars just lost to the Broncos, who had one of the worst offenses in the league. So anything's possible. It's the League of Dreams, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets could win, and so could the Texans.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I don't see the Jags defense isn't. I mean, I at least have some sort of liking to the Saints defense. I don't think they should have shut out the Raiders. I guess I'll split it and go with the Raiders. I don't really want to, but it is
Well,
what it
it
is.
makes me feel better if that makes you feel better.
Sure. Last 1 o'clock game, Vikings 6-1, 3.5-point favorites at the Commanders 4-4. I do think the Vikings are the better team here. I just feel like I don't know if I feel like they're due for a loss, and the Commanders have been playing decent. But why are you guys taking Minnesota?
That is just a really good football team playing a not one.
Yeah, the Commanders have a turnstile offensive line, and Zadarius Smith had a huge week this past week and looks to continue that. They add Hawkinson this week, and we'll have him playing on Sunday. Jay Jettis can't be covered by a single person on the Commanders as well, so I
Nope.
really have no reason to not pick them. I also think 3.5 is utterly disrespectful for them.
Eric?
But I could get
Yeah.
slapped in the face with wrong. So
Yeah, I'm gonna take Minnesota also. 1 o'clock, Kirk Cousins. I mean, can't beat him. I saw something this week. I don't know if you guys sent it to me or I saw it on the internet. If you took primetime Jacoby Brissett and 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins and just put it together,
Yeah.
it's the greatest quarterback of all time.
facts.
It's true. Yeah, I guess I'll ride with Minnesota as well. I mean, I do think they're a really good football team. And I mean, I guess the Commanders only beat the Colts by 1, so it's not like they're high versatile offense. First 4 o'clock game out of 2 4 o'clock games this week. Seahawks 5-3 at the Cardinals, 3-5, 2-point favorites to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are close. I don't think they're a good team, but I feel like at home they have a better chance of beating Seattle than they would on the road. So I'll take Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Well, hashtag never, baby.
Wow.
Give me
That
Arizona.
sucks because I have some fat reasons to pick Seattle that don't even have to do with the players on the field.
Go ahead.
One, Arizona has not won on the road in the last 2 seasons, or at home. Sorry,
At home, you mean?
in the last 2 seasons.
They won. They break that a couple weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago, did they win against
Yeah, I
one of the
think they did
shittiest
win.
teams in the league?
Yeah,
Cool.
they still won.
Yeah. Also, this is the first week with Modern Warfare 2 online being active.
I
so-
thought Call of Duty was last week.
Oh no,
Well, it
campaign
came
was
out
last
Friday.
week, and then online drops this week. So we'll be smelling you. And plus, they have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett playing absurdly well right now. Seattle really is a very, very good football team that's flying
They're-
completely under the radar.
It looked like they were throwing some shade at Russ.
They were.
Oh,
Fuck him.
Yeah.
He
Zach?
sucks.
No comment.
At least this year he sucks.
Yeah. For that reason, Seattle. They're
All right.
throwing shade at Russ.
All right, split down the middle, 2 for Seattle, 2 for Arizona, 425 Rams, 3-4 at the Bucks, 3-5, 2.5-point favorites to the Bucks. Weird game. I said this probably the last 2 weeks where I didn't see Tom Brady losing 2 games in a row. Then I didn't see him losing 3 games in a row. I don't really see him losing 4 games in a row. I guess I'm going to keep riding that until he wins. So we'll see. Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, similar logic. I think the Bucks still have a good team, just waiting for them to figure out this offense with different pieces. And the Rams don't look good either. So I'm going to stick with the winning formula of picking the home team in a close match. In the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. With, sorry, Luke.
Sorry, Hark. You go ahead. You already had a pick down.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Is Cooper Kupp playing?
Yeah.
He is. Okay, because I was gonna say. I mean, either way, I still like the Bucks, but I mean, if he's even a little bit hobbled,
He is a little bit hobbled. He
Yeah.
definitely is. He got rolled up on Sunday
Yeah.
against the Niners.
yeah.
He's
So
a
I
hobbler,
like the
baby.
Bucks.
I'm going to go with the Bucks as well. I was kind of up in the air, but then just the more I think about it, the Rams have been so bad. At least the Bucks are like, with the exception of the Steelers game, they've been putting up a fight every week. So I don't know. It's weird. I'll take the Bucks, I guess.
All
I
right,
don't
Bucks.
really want to.
No, it's not a good game. It's not exciting. Bucks across
Divorce
the board.
Tom kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still getting his head around himself.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football, 8:20. Titans 5-2 at the Chiefs, also 5-2, but 12.5 point favorites to the Chiefs. I mean, that shows you what Vegas thinks about the Chiefs, even if the Titans are 5-2, and they also don't really have a quarterback right now. They're just running the ball to Derrick Henry, but I'm going to take the Chiefs at home on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm. I am too.
The Titans have the worst passing offense in the league, and one of the worst in the past few years. No reason the Chiefs shouldn't win, but I think that, my opinion, 12.5 is a little outlandish. We also turn the clocks forward this weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
For possibly the last time, if it passes through the Senate. We'll see. Eric?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kansas City also. I mean, they're unreal on prime time. Kind of crazy. So I think I'll keep riding them, especially on prime time. Saw another thing about them on prime time, or it was part of my take. They were saying that the Monday night game, so that way it doesn't get ruined, it should always be the Chiefs, or at least the Chiefs should just like start as like the Monday night game to make it fun. And then whenever they lose, whatever team beats them is like slotted to the Monday night slate the next week. And then it just keeps going. I kind of like it. It keeps interesting teams on primetime.
Yeah, I mean, they've been good every year. Yeah. And, I mean, you'd rather see the Chiefs on primetime than the Broncos. So I agree with that.
It's true.
All right, Monday Night Football, 8:15, Ravens 5-3, 3-point favorites at the Saints 3-5. Ravens have been playing pretty good football since their collapses in the fourth quarter earlier in the season. Saints beat the Raiders 24-0. I'll still take Lamar on primetime. I think he's played pretty well in those games, as we were saying last week before he beat the Bucks. So I'll roll with Baltimore.
Yeah, I like Baltimore as well in that game. I think they'll be up on the Saints.
Yeah, why?
Just wondering.
I mean, I doubt he has the same week that he had last week, but he is playing.
No, he is playing, but I think that I like the Jacksons better this week.
Exactly.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Baltimore across the board. Those are the Week 9 picks. We appreciate everyone who listened in to Phire Football Radio this afternoon, or evening, excuse me. We'll see how the teams do at the halfway point next week. It's been Matt McGrath, Luigi Coppola, Zach Smolla, and Eric Harkins. Peace out. I have no final words. Any final words from you?
I'm sad that the 49ers aren't playing football, but
Neither are the Giants or the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are probably sad about that, so it's just sad, man. It's not as exciting, but it is still more exciting than anything else, so.
Still football nonetheless.
Yeah. My words of wisdom on this Wednesday evening. Go outside. Breathe some fresh air.
Have a chicken parm.
Have a chicken parm.
Have some pasta fagioli. It's good.
Pasta fagioli. Pretty good. Not bad. Or a little pasta fagioli. Whatever you want.
All right. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are.
All right. Peace.